I know that the NFL is a league of turnover, but is this the most turnover you've seen in a position room year to year with one team?
Just for us specifically, yeah. We've added guys here and there, but we've kind of always kept our, core. We lost Defoe after that first year, and then we might lose one guy and replace him with a couple. But yeah, for our room this year in D-line, this will be the biggest turnover we've had since I've been here in 2019, with the amount of guys that left and the amount of new guys that have came into the room.
How's Leonard acclimating to? I know he played some hand in the dirt last year, but obviously it's going to be a lot more this season. Do you feel that he's acclimating, feeling comfortable to that style?
Yeah, I do. And we're going to utilize both with him. There's certain times we're going to want his hand in the ground. There's certain times that he has the freedom to use his the 2-point that he's really excelled at throughout his career. But I really do feel like when he puts his hand in the ground, like he feels like a bolt of lightning coming out of there. The explosion, the speed really shows up on the silent tape. Like it's evident. The amount of ground he can cover. The explosion he can generate, how fast he can close on blockers. So yeah, I'm happy with where he's at right now. It's still work in progress as camp goes on. He hasn't necessarily totally. He's played with his hands in the dirt last year in Buffalo and at other times during his career, but this is like a little bit different than what he's done in the past. So he's still adjusting, but I really like the trajectory he's on.
Beal looks like a ton on the practice field, Coach, but he's raw, right? But he shows that explosive speed. What do you see from him, and what is his challenge to get on the field and start to produce a little bit?
Just what you said. You just see that raw athleticism, and I like from where he was at this point last year. He pulled his hamstring about right now, or maybe a little bit before that, and you'd really kind of started seeing it come alive last year, where he's been able to stack these days, and you just see that raw athlete, and he's getting more consistent as the more reps he takes. This will be a good stretch here for him going to these preseason games and start really getting some live action. But he's a guy that can cover space really quickly. On the backside, you see that speed show up. When he's closing on tackles, and then he's added some muscle mass to his frame, where now you're starting to see that power on edge sets and power throughout his rush, come alive. So we're really excited about Rob. He just needs to keep stacking one day on top of the next and just keep improving a little bit each and every day, and the future's going to be bright for him.
What are your early thoughts on Yatur, and is he somebody that you think can be used in a similar role as Amenadu a couple years ago, where you were able to stand him up over guards and passing downs and kind of move him all over the line a little bit?
Yeah, I really like Yatur. He's a big frame dude, thick lower body, long, that still has the explosive traits throughout his lower body. Very instinctive player, that's always seems to be around the ball. And then the versatility that you talked about, being able to play him outside on all three downs, and then with the versatility, and on third down in obvious passing situations, bump him down over guards. He's shown the ability to do that throughout his NFL career, and in 2-minute situations, getting a long body out there that can have the stamina and the speed and the length to go affect things, to go close out games. All those attributes are what brought him here.
Hargrave recently talked about the adjustment coming into this system and how it takes some time to acclimate. For you as a coach, what's the biggest obstacle you usually face when you're getting guys who are veterans who have had success elsewhere and getting them adjusted to the system you have here?
Just kind of generally the way we attack and play. It's only a couple teams in the NFL that really truly do it the way we do it. All defensive linemen, when you say, hey, we play an attack scheme, they get right out of here. That sounds great. I want to attack. I've been, reading these blocks, and then once you truly get here and get into it, it's like, oh, I didn't realize you wanted me to attack this much. So just getting used to the techniques. The stance is a little bit different. The aiming points are a little bit different. We play a little bit on different angles, with our width within, where we get down in our alignments. So just all that stuff, just trying to stack it and really becoming muscle memory for the guys over time. So there is an adjustment period that everybody, unless you've played in a scheme before, that you have to go through to work through and make mistakes doing it, learn from the mistakes, and improve upon the mistakes. So I feel like right now, the second year, you really see guys take a big jump, and you can see it in Javon's play right now. He's hit the ground running. You can see that he's a lot more comfortable year two, going into year two than he was year one within the scheme. So excited about him.
The defensive tackles, Kalia, Davis, and Shaquille, what do you want to see from them over the course of the next month as they vie to be part of the rotation?
Yeah, tell the guys, separate yourself. Clearly separate yourself. We have a tight knit group in there, and guys are all battling for each other and pulling for the next guy in the room, and that's what what makes a good D-line room. But individually, each day, separate yourself. Clearly separate yourself from the next. Earn your spot, earn your position in the rotation, earn the snaps that you're going to get on Sunday. Now's the time to do it. Once we get in these preseason games, separate yourself. So they're all doing a great job. They've shown up in practice. Kalia, Evan, Shaquille Brown. They're all doing a really good job. I just want to, at the end, once it's all said and done, and the collective body of work's in, I want it to be easy to make the decision. Make it easy on us. Separate yourself from the other guys.
Going into year 6 now for Nick Bosa, he's obviously won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's one of the best edge rushers in the league. Is there a certain area of his game where you think he could take his ceiling even higher and become an even better player?
Yeah, there's always things to get better on, and Nick is about as meticulous on those things as any human being that I've ever been around, and it's just a matter of fine-tuning the minute aspects of what he does within rushes. He's not going to add a whole lot to his game. Every offseason, Nick seems to pick something to try to work on and add, and just add to the repertoire. But now it's just a matter of fine-tuning, what's made him the player that he is, with his hands, a little bit sharper with his hands, maybe get his hands up a little bit faster, maybe just a little bit more precise with the footwork that he's trying to manipulate a tackle with. Maybe it's, just getting even on a blocker just a millisecond faster to turn a quarterback hit into a sack strip, things like that for him. But it's going to be minute details. He's not going to just totally, change his game at this point in time. It's just the small things, and every year he picks something to kind of try to add to the toolbox and work through it and get better at it. But it's just a matter of fine-tuning things now.
Where's the biggest jump you've seen from Jair from year 1 to year 2?
Mentally, I think the game been slowed down for him. He becoming that leader in the secondary. In regards to communicating and running the show, he making all the calls out there on the back end. Him and Gio also doing a great job as well. But in regards to fitting the run game, he's triggering fast. So he understands his gap. And in the pass game, his man coverage and got better as well. And he always been a guy that's always been around the ball. And you can see that he's doing a great job taking the ball away. I think he got 4 INTs right now at training camp. So hopefully he can keep that going.
It seems like so many guys rookies who finish the season on a high note, come back year 2 and they suck. What did you do in the offseason to kind of impress upon him that he hasn't arrived, that he has to continue to get better?
Thing is, I think we call get betters, and we evaluate how his season went, and we look at the things that he did good last season and the things that he didn't do so well at, and the things that we're going to focus on, the things that he didn't do well at, and that's what we want to become a strength of his game. And that's one thing that he's been continuing to work on. That's what made him to stay humble and keep him grinding and understand that I got to continue to improve and get better as a player, on top of continue to improve what I've done good at as well, to be the best player that he can be.
So where's the emphasis on getting better?
That's just between me and him right now, but hopefully he can continue to keep it going.
In terms of the aggression and the dog in him, as he liked to say, as Renardo Green come as advertised?
Yeah, he's every bit of what we saw on tape. I mean, he's a natural cover guy. You can see that. He's very sticky in coverage. He's very good in press man. The thing that I take my hat off to Ronaldo, he's very smart. You know, for a rookie to come in to play nickel and corner, you can see in training camp, we start him off at nickel. He took majority of snaps at nickel. He done a great job at that, competing at that. Especially him and Demo, he made some plays there. He was sticky there. He's good in his own coverage. He can blitz. He can set the edge. And then also this last block of practice that we had the last 3 days, you can see he worked majority at corner on the outside. He done a great job at that. So as a rookie, as a young guy to come in, it usually take a guy 2 years to learn the nickel position. A guy can learn corner faster than they can nickel. I take my hat off to him. He's very mature. He got a strong work ethic. He keep his head in the playbook. He's not making many mistakes out there. He's always in position. He's doing a great job.
So few guys.
He got some first-team snaps yesterday. Is that sort of an indication of how well he's doing, and you wanting to see him with that first-team group?
Of course, you want to reward guys that's playing well. But when you look at us on the back end, we deep right now at corner. This is probably the most depth I done had at corner. So we just trying to rotate guys and see, what's the best combination of guys. Just rotate, you see what it see, whether it's Ronaldo, Demo, and Ward running snap, taking snaps, or is it Ike Adam, Demore, and then as far as Ward on the outside or Rock Hussein. So we just continue to mix it up and see who's the best three out there, in regards to corner nickel, and give us the best chance to win.
Mooney, a lot of guys have said he's hilarious, and even when he's not trying to be funny, he is funny. How would you describe his humor and his personality?
Mooney is a pro. He's a vet. He's a businessman. I would say that. He's smart. You wouldn't think that you read a lot of books, but you read a lot, and it's off time. He's very quiet, but he's becoming a leader in that. On the back end, he's communicating with the young guys, doing a great job taking guys up on his belt. But he's very professional. He's always ready to play. One thing I count on Mooney, that he's going to be ready. He's going to stay ready. He's going to do his job. He's going to do it to the best of his ability.
It seems like last year, you guys were kind of struggling to find the right mix for your nickel defense. Who's on the outside, who's on the inside. How's that process coming along this summer, trying to figure out the best pieces and where they fit?
The good thing, I think the nickel, we got a lot of guys that can play nickel at a high level, and it's doing a good job. You got Demo already, and then you got Sammy Womack, who's having a great camp as well. He's playing inside and outside, and then you got Ronaldo Green too as well. So I don't think we have really three guys at that nickel position since I've been here that can legit play nickel. So I think that nickel position has become a strength and can be a strength for us going into the season. No knock to Oliver. Oliver did a great job for us last year. Obviously, when Demo went inside and brought 18 in, we felt like we was better from a coverage standpoint. But also, you can't forget about Chase Lucas too as well. He's a guy on the back end that can play nickel too as well. So we got a lot of guys that's competing at the nickel spot that's only going to make the defense better.
What do you see from Isaiah?
Man, the guy is a leader. He's consistent. The thing that shows up, man, he's always been good in press, man. You saw that on tape last year when you were watching the tape in free agency. But the thing that I saw from him, man, he didn't got better in his own coverage. He's out there communicating with the guys. He's taking the young guys up on his wing. He's a guy that he only speaks when spoken to, but when he speaks, the players listen. And the good thing that I saw when I rotate Rock in with the ones and I took Ike down on the sideline, he was cheerleading Rock on. Hey, Rock, it's your time to go out there on the field, man. Let's go. So, I mean, he's a vet that I'm glad to have. He's been a great addition to our team, and he continues to play his butt off. He's having a great training camp.
Curious whether being out of the head coaching grind and the media obligations and also kind of rolling up your sleeves and getting back to, working with players exclusively. I know you'd probably rather be head coaching, but to be able to do that, how fun is that to get back into that part of it?
Well, I love coaching players. Long before I became a head coach, I was coaching players, and that's what I think all of us enjoy the most. I think that's what Kyle enjoys the most, is just coaching players. So to have that direct impact on guys, that's always going to be the best part of the job. And so to be able to work with a new group of players, to be able to impact a new group of people, that's been energizing for me.
I mean, do you like that hands-on, I've seen you really work with Demo and other defensive backs, just, really getting in the weeds, it seems like, with them.
Yeah, I think what you're able to do now is really be able to build guys from the ground up, where as a head coaching, it's so global, and your attention is divided, where you're trying to affect all aspects of the team. Where in my role now, I get to do that at times, but more of my focus is, trying to build, a lot of these players from the ground up and from a fundamental standpoint. And that's fun for me, to be able to just work at their game get on the grass and work, and then be in the film room and work, and then being able to get to these guys that I feel like have a lot to give, offer some new perspective, and I'm learning a lot too. So it's been great.
A couple of guys have talked about you talking a lot about playing the percentages. Demo was talking about that. Hey, they're not going to run. They never run this on first down. He says he's thinking of things in ways that he hadn't thought of them before. How big is that part of your coaching and tendencies, and start sort of drilling that into their head?
Yeah, I think so much as any player, but particularly young players, as they come into the NFL, and there's so much to learn on just your own side of the ball. New techniques, new schemes, new roles, and then let alone what I'm defending on offense is completely different than what I've defended in college. And you're defending Kyle and this group of players every day in practice. It can be a lot. So what you're trying to do is just simplify the game for them. Instead of thinking about everything, hey, these are the things that are really going to impact you playing well. And so I think for every player, you're trying to, regardless of what our position is you're trying to get them to eliminate things that they're thinking about, not increase that, because that's going to make them play faster. And so just bringing some experience to the table so that these guys can play well.
It's very cliche to say guys tough in the NFL. Yeah, obviously. But, I mean, Leonard Floyd, just when you look at his, basically never missed a game. And then there's been times in his training camp practice, he's got a calf injury. I wonder how long he's going to be out. Oh, he's back in. Oh, he's hurt his foot. I wonder if it's broken. No, he's back in. So we're kind of seeing it, I guess. I guess, is he unique in just what he's made of and the toughness he has?
I do think he's unique. John Fox told me one time, he agrees with you that all NFL players have toughness. He said, Brandon, there's not going to be too many guys that you meet in the NFL that aren't tough or that are fearless. So I think I've been with Leonard at 3 different places, so I've seen him play through the pain, which all players play through. But his second year in Chicago, he had a cast on his hand. He broke his hand, and had for a rusher to lose one of your hands is a huge deal. And I saw him play through the first 8 games with a cast on the number 1 defense in the NFL. And then he got the cast off, and then he started playing, as well as he's ever played. But I saw him play through a lot, and same thing with the Rams. And so I've seen it at 2 different places. I know here he fits right in with this group because we have a lot of players who are made up of the same thing. So I think that's why I knew he was going to be a great fit for what John and Kyle expect out of a defensive player. And so as he's showing you guys, he has a lot to give. There's a lot of experience that he has, but I mean, tough. He's one of these all the time playing, all day playing type of players. And he's a real throwback in that sense.
You apologize if you've been asked about him already. Obviously, you've been working with Demo quite a bit. What did you see in him from the jump that made you so excited that this is sort of a ball of clay guy that you can work with?
Yeah, there aren't too many defensive players who are combo players where they start outside in 4 DB defenses and start inside in 5 DB defenses. There just aren't a lot of those guys that possess that type of skill set. And for him to have done it at such a high level and really kind of be thrust into that role, midway through the season or whatever it was, you just know that you're dealing with someone that's capable of a lot, that has a lot to give. And, I think he's got the traits outside that you need from just the engine that he has outside, ball skills, to stay with the premium receivers. But then inside, he's got the instincts, he's got the quickness, the physicality, with the open field, with the tackling in the box and, some of the linebacker characteristics that you need. So now what we got to be able to do is we got to refine all that because he's got the ability, and now it's just the experience and the reps, and that's what we're trying to pour into, try to take advantage of this time. So, because it's a tough thing, the skill sets are very different, and so you got to be trained, a different type of way, and you got to study, and you can't just be out there winging it. So, we're going through that process right now, but he's off to a good start in camp.
Mm-hmm.